You're welcome back from that quick timeout. You're still on to Daybreak here on Trust Television, and it's time for our interactive segment where we get to have your voice and your say on the show this morning. So today we're talking about something that affects you and I and Nigerians in general. We're talking about energy security, the power sector. Now, we know that the power sector has long been plagued by challenges with far-reaching consequences for the economy and for citizens' daily lives. Nigeria's power generation capacity stands at approximately 4,000 megawatts, far short of the estimated 40,000 megawatts. Okay, we're talking about the power sector. Back to that now. We're looking mainly on the quality of power supply versus the bills we're asked to pay. With our generation and the kind of electricity Nigeria is generating and the kind of electricity that's available to Nigerians, the debate still rages on are Nigerians getting value for their hard-earned money when it comes to electricity. The statistics are stark. Nigeria's economy loses an estimated $26 billion annually due to power outages, with businesses and households bearing the brunt of unreliable electricity supply. And this situation is particularly dire in states like Kano, Katsina, and Jigawa, where residents are limited to just 2 hours of power supply daily. This not only hampers economic growth, but also affects the daily lives of millions of Nigerians. Meanwhile, power companies claim billions of naira in unpaid bills, sparking questions about the quality of the service being provided. Are Nigerians justified in withholding payment when the power supply is so erratic? Or are the power companies right to demand compensation for their service, no matter how inadequate? We want to hear from you. If you're tired of paying for power you don't receive, or if you have a different perspective on this issue, call in and let's hear your thoughts. Let's discuss the intricacies of power billing and service qualities and explore potential solutions to this pressing problem. Remember, your voice matters, so call in or send a message on WhatsApp and let's get talking. You know, there was a time, where the northern state experienced blackout.
Yes.
Total blackout. I remember I was watching the report here and people were complaining of not even being able to get cold water to drink. You had vendors complain of not even being able to make business as usual.
It was very devastating. It was very devastating. It had on businesses, because without power, obviously the services in itself would be very, very expensive, because obviously they would have to look for alternative ways of getting power supply into their businesses.
Indeed. Let's take this call we have quickly. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Oops. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Do you want to call us back? Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Hawa. Good morning, Lilian. You are speaking with Shetima Yakudima, calling from Maiduguri.
Good morning, Shetima. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. You see, about the power issue, getting value of your money as a Nigerian in power sector, we have zero our mind on that. What we are paying for the services that was not rendered to us. That's the truth of the matter. Anywhere you go in Nigeria is just like that. But there is nothing we can do, but we are praying for Almighty Allah to intervene and to correct this, extortion. Because I can call it extortion. Because it is only power company that can oppress you to pay for the services that was not rendered to you. And moreover, you will be surprised. There is something that they are doing which is beyond imagination. You have been quoted or you have been disconnected, but over time your bill is accumulating. I don't know where they get these services. It is very unfortunate. You can stay for 6 months without power. Like here in Maiduguri, there is time that we stay for 6 months without power, but they have charged us for that money. I don't know where they get that services. It is very, very unfortunate. And it was only power company that can ask you to maintain their own assets. These transformers that you are seeing, it was the community that maintained them. the engine oil or the fuel that was putting for the jetty, it was the community that are buying it. If it is just spoiled, it was the community that will service it, they have to repair it. If not, you just stay indefinite. I don't know where they get all these ideologies. This is slowly exploitation and extortion. But yet, Nigerians, they have nothing to do because we are peace-loving citizens. That is why they take us for granted. It is very, very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate, Lilian. They have to do something about it because we thank God here in Maiduguri now. Our able governor have put us in a gas plant. But that is why we are only enjoying light, our supply. But in certain areas, despite the part of that gas plant, certain areas in a day it's heavy for them to get power of 2 hours, 3 hours. So you see, it's very, very, very alarming. And if you look at it very, very well, all these petty business, they have been dying.
Indeed.
They have been dying because of lack of power. It's very unfortunate. A country like Nigeria cannot maintain a stable power supply. Where all this oil money going for? We have to ask ourselves. And the revenue that they are collecting, where that money is going for? We have to ask ourselves. It's very, very unfortunate. But we are praying for sanity in the future. That's my take. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your thoughts. That you made pretty important points, whereby first off, there've been a lot of complaints of, paying for services that have not been provided for. As you mentioned, there are times where you go days, weeks on end without getting electricity, but then at the end of the day, if it is a postpaid system, you get presented with a bill and you have to pay for that bill.
It's the question of why do we still have cases of estimated billing. There's been a certain level of metering gap, which estimated billing shouldn't be something that should still be in Nigeria. How much they intend to take metering serious. But let's take this call before we continue. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning. Yeah, my name is Adamu, calling from Jalingo.
Good morning, Maryam. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, my name is Lilian, calling from Jalingo. I also want to contribute about this issue of light.
Yes, go ahead, please.
So currently here in Jalingo, my area is very close to YEDC, which is a Yola distribution company. So we hardly get 4 hours electricity a day. And what is even worrying is every month the bill keep on rising, because last month I was giving 11,000 bill. Nothing changed about the distribution of the light, and this month I was charged 12,900. So I'm one neighbor that is close to my area. Their transformer has spoiled, so the people of that area have to contribute money to repair the transformer. So unfortunately, on that very month they repaired the transformer, the YEDC had to charge them. So, and the transformer did not last 2 weeks, it got spoiled again. So, and YEDC is not doing anything about the transformer. They are still waiting for the community to contribute again. I think the first time they contributed about 2 million to repair that transformer. Now they are waiting for them to contribute another money. And when you gather this money, it is them that you are going to give to come and repair the transformer, because they will come with their crane, remove the transformer, they take it to where they will repair it, later they will bring it back and install it again. So in this country, honestly, we don't know what's happening with this issue of light. From this regime to another regime, the thing keep on getting worse. It keep on getting worse, and nobody is saying anything. They will still to any amount of money they like. Nobody will say anything. So, and I think YDC are even enjoying this extortion. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much there. You know, judging by what he said, given a bill of 11,000, it's obvious that they are operating on estimated bill in there and they don't have meters.
Exactly.
What happened to the goal of, bridging the metering gaps in Nigeria? And I remember I had a conversation right here on Daybreak with the CEO of ADC for the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, and I asked the question. I've experienced that in my community. A transformer gets bad, you contribute money, give it to them. And he said it's meant to be theirs, but due to the funding issue they are having, so they appeal to the customers to do that. But this is him. We had also a report here where a community spoke about how they contributed money and gave the transformer to them to fix, and they have not found the transformer for the past 2 years. They've not brought the transformer back to them. So a lot of things are going on that it's allowing a certain level of extortion and unchecked extortion in the power sector. Who is there to
checkmate them? Who is there to keep them accountable for each and every service they're supposed to provide? If a customer has to provide for you to change a transformer, that is your responsibility to do, then obviously you would take a chance to extort that customer as well. All right, we'll take the next call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Amina Sayyidu from Kaduna.
Good morning, Amina. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I think the question on the topic you are discussing has an answer that is known to even a child unborn. The answer is no. There's nobody in Nigeria except the rich that knows how they get their money and how they spend it. Let me tell you, they're satisfied with what is happening, and I'm sure if they are satisfied, we won't be seeing the presidency going for solar for what 10 billion. That shows that Nigeria has failed. They have failed in power, in fact, in everything, and the power sector is totally zero. We are not getting anything. You get billed for what you never enjoy. In fact, Kasina, I think Kebbi and about 2 or 3 states have been on the news, having 2 hours power supply. But that is just what you know. Kaduna is saying there are places in Kaduna that you don't get more than 1 to 2 hours power supply every day. Maybe the other 3 states, maybe because it's a general issue, but I'm telling you that Kaduna, where I reside, there are places, in fact, where I reside in particular, we don't get more than 2 hours power supply. And in the night when you don't need it, everything you put, you have things in the freezer, they get spoiled. The little money you save to buy your things, to at least to augment the little you are getting, when you put them in the freezer, they get spoiled because there's no power supply. Except those that have a solar system, or those that can power their power by using a generator or what. I don't know. I don't really know what the government is doing. They tell us one thing today, tomorrow they are doing something else. Now that the presidency is going for solar, he is just telling the Nigerians that you are on your own. We are not getting anything. We pay for what we don't have. When you have problem with your transformer, you are being taxed to repair. And same transformer, the so-called electric sector say they own that same transformer that you are to service. You pay for your bill, you service the transformer, whatever that happened to your transformer or cable around your environment, you have to tax yourself to make sure that these things are put in order. I don't really know what is happening in Nigeria. Nigeria is a failed state. This is what the government don't want to hear, but the truth is that Nigeria is totally a failed state. We should wake up from our slumber. We are not getting anything. There's nothing that the average Nigerian is getting. The masses are dying. In every sector there's nothing we are enjoying. Power sector is totally zero. We are paying for what we never get. Please let the government, at least for the sake of God, for the fear of God, they should have at least the fear of God a little and do something to put smile on the faces of the masses. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amina, for that. Imagine in Nigeria where there is 24 hours power supply. Imagine how businesses would thrive. Nigerians are such hardworking people that just create an environment for them,
an enabling environment.
Just create an enabling environment and just let it be, and you will see the businesses from tailoring to manufacturing to drinks and ice selling. So many things would boom because they would find a way to make
industries would boom as well if there is constant electricity, because the cost it takes to run a business, it is no small feat, because at the end of the day, when there's no constant electricity, you would have to opt out for getting a generator or, using the solar providers. Okay, we'll take the next caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, ladies. How are you today?
We're good. Thank you for joining us.
Ade.
Good morning. Ade from London. This morning I just got a message from my people that I sent money for fuel. That the money I sent is finished. So I've just sent another money this morning for fuel. So and they consume this fuel 50K every week, just for a few people in the house, because of what they have in their freezer and the fridge not to spoil. So I don't know how a country can be run this way. Me, I don't understand, because just to get energy for people, and that will help a lot. It will even help in the area of security, because we will get on the job, they will be able to do some things when they have electricity, but they don't do it. Listen to the news now that federal government want to use 12 billion for solar. It's an evidence of a failure of the government. Solar for the government, then they will be comfortable. They won't feel what the poor people are feeling, what the rural area are feeling. They won't have that feelings. I don't know how we run a country like this. Let them give people electricity, even though if you want to charge for it. I pay £6,000 for my energy in UK a year, both gas and electricity. It's very expensive, but we need it. So, but it's up to you. If there is cold weather, I may not decide not to on the heater to save cost. But if I'm getting too cold, I put the heater on. I know I'm going to pay for it. So Nigerians are ready to pay for electricity, but give it to them rather than using 10 billion to do solar in Aso Rock. I mean, it's a failure. It's a failure. I'm not happy with this government at all, because you are in a government for the common people to enjoy, to be secured. But when you don't have electricity, a lot of crime will happen in the night, and they can't charge their phone, they can't do anything. This is very risky. So if that alone is insecurity on its own. So I plead with this government, please, if you know you cannot cope, resign and let's have election. Because I don't understand. Why should I be sending money every week to Nigeria for petrol or for diesel? Because there is no light. That money should have helped people to do something else. So this is not a good news at all, the way I'm seeing it. Other people are feeling the same. Imagine children who want to do WAEC or do JAM. They cannot read in their house, no light. They will be using candle, which is dangerous. It's affecting even the children. We got the airport, so I don't know what to do again. Let's just be praying. God will save my country one day. I know that for sure. God bless Nigeria. God bless Trust TV. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. To be honest, if everything is put into perspective, with a proposition of a 10 billion naira project to power, the presidential residence with solar panels, what is left on the Nigerians' mind? That means they have been abandoned. That is the only explanation they can tell themselves, and that's the only rationale that they can see. Because if they're not inputting those funds into making sure that the electricity sector, the power sector is good to go and on the right track, then obviously all hope is lost. Let's take our next caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Lilian.
Good morning, thank you for joining us.
My name is Afolabi. I'm calling from Niger State.
Good morning, Afolabi. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead with your thoughts.
The topic of discussion is a very good one this morning. You see, to me, the whole power sector was just extraction. To me, right from day one when they were to privatize the distribution or whatever it's going to be, who are those that bought it? We Nigerians. We don't have any external party that bought it. It was Nigerians that bought it, right? But let them bring that as a state. The whole transformers we have in Nigeria, they were all being installed by this individual. None of them, let them know how many did they install. It is this customer that bring about the transformer, or they facilitate it through politicians. They begin scope themselves. Let them bring that paper and show to Nigeria that we have installed 3 million, 5 million, or how many thousands of transformers have been installed within when the way they started this course. It is we in the masses. You go around, you bring your money, you install transformer, you do this, you do that. Later they now come and start charging you what you have, like what you bring your money and install. They start charging you on that. How do you justify this? You call it extortion. I don't even know the word qualified that. If I could bring like 10 million to 20 million, 30 million and install, then the next thing they start charging you what the service are being enjoyed. So no, I don't even know. I think the president can come out boldly and say he's going to install 10 billion solar to the Asoro. He has shown his way out of the Asoro because he said if we cannot enjoy the power sector, we shouldn't vote him, which means the door is open for him to go. He said it publicly when he was campaigning. God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria. God bless Nigeria. God bless Trust TV indeed. Thank you very much, Afolabi, there for your thought. And we have a couple of WhatsApp messages we'll be taking. The first, he says, "Good morning, Trust TV." He didn't put his name. "Good morning, Trust TV. Power is good for the economy. Let's make solar cheaper. If solar panel density improves, power source will become cheaper. Cost of production will reduce. More jobs created. For now, solar power is too expensive. Let our tertiary institutions in Nigeria create an environment for this." We have research institutions, we have people who are manufacturing things, putting more efforts to an enabling environment to make sure that if the power sector cannot handle providing electricity enough for Nigerians, let Nigerians who want to provide an alternative power supply for themselves be able to afford it. Make it easier. And I know one of the goals of the power sector is also, they said, okay, increase the cost of tariff. We had the CEO here who said the cost of tariff is increased to bridge the gap. You're paying for petrol. That money you'll be adding to pay for petrol generator that would cause noise pollution. Add it up to your unit. But then again, people are not seeing the value for that. And if we have the State House going for solar, that means they're not going to run on fuel or diesel. Because they don't know the cost of fuel or diesel and how it's affecting Nigerians. And it also means that they don't even know what people are going through in terms of electricity.
Exactly. All right, we'll take the next message. This is from Baba Jalingo. He said, "Honestly, I do get power supply for almost 24 hours on Band A in Jalingo, Taraba, but my predicament is the cost of the Band A palaver." So obviously you would have different experiences, but I would say majority of people do suffer from lack of power. But as he said, he gets 24 hours power supply. But then the cost.
The cost of power supply has taught me that my freezer can be off all night and some part of the morning and will still be fine. So we tend to cut those things. We have the next message, from Idris Abubakar in Maiduguri. Says, "Good morning, my name is Idris Abubakar. We in Maiduguri, we have gas power plants, but we are not satisfied with the level of distribution. We don't know where the problem lies. Thank you." And we had Shatima confirm that they have gas power plants, hence they have electricity. So the average you're getting is better than what some other people are not getting at all. We saw the caller from, I believe, where did he say it was Yola? And you could tell how it was there.
From Jalingra actually, and those two different perspectives. One said 24 hours, the other said he only gets 2 hours. So next message we have is from Badamasi Haruna Adamu in FCT He said, absolutely, Nigeria is walloping and galloping into the muddy wadi of shadow waters. Going back to the question, it's unequivocally that Nigerians are not getting value for their money in regards to quality service of electricity.
Thank you there, Haruna. Moving on to the next message you have from Abdul. He says, good morning, Trust TV. The issue about power service is that seriously, Nigerians are not getting what they are paying for. But Nigeria can supply Nigeria with electricity. This is a serious issue. Government needs to look into it because we all hope for a better Nigeria. For every time we talk about power supply, I still remember when I stayed in Benin Republic for 6 months or thereabout, they didn't blink the light, they didn't go off. Even when they did for 2 hours, it was announced for over a week.
Well, I believe this question that I have is for our next segment. What will it take for Nigeria to have that constant, uninterrupted power supply? That we have to know. So our next message, there's no name on this, says, good morning. We have a dam and the national grid. Now the government wants to fix solar with batteries they will likely import from India. It shows the government don't have any confidence that the power sector will ever improve. It's embarrassing.
Indeed, it is indeed embarrassing. All right, let's take the next message from Dr. Livingstone Ekanem from Jos. He says, good morning, ladies of Daybreak. I sympathize with Nigerians suffering the yoke of darkness. In Jos, especially in my area, the situation is different. Power is 24 hours and it's been like this for years. Can the states grappling with darkness reach out to Plateau states to find out what they did? Because it sounds strange that in the same country, fellow countrymen and women can't even get power to power their businesses. And yes, the cost of electricity is a discussion for another day. Let me conclude this by saying, okay, this was on his the comment yesterday. Let me conclude this by saying that self-defense is not only an option, but the only option when the state fails to protect you. That was his comment from yesterday. Yes, thank you so much for sending in your comments from yesterday and also commenting today, Dr. Livingstone. No, he can't relate, because he's experiencing 24 hours power supply. You have people who are not even experiencing it at all.
Exactly. So next message, we have Ezekiel Joseph from Katsina State. It says, good morning, Trust TV. As your topic of discussion is going on in my area, and this is about 8:33 a.m. and only God knows when the light will be restored. This occurrence daily. Only the time changes. This occurs daily, only the time changes, and that's the experience we have been having. And always at the end of every month, they serve you with a very exorbitant estimated bill. Nigeria is only God that can save the masses.
That's why we used to say, God help Nigeria.
Yes.
To the final message we have this morning, he says, from Mr. Israel from a degree, says, hi, Nigeria power sector is part of the economy system failure. Unfortunately, in the past, we failed to invest despite the huge money from oil. That is why we're witnessing grid collapse and darkness. We need to plan how to invest for future use. Indeed, investment in the power sector is what lots of Nigerians are calling on. You're giving this estimated billing, or we're even doing the band A, band B payments that is exorbitant. Let me see the value for my money. The beauty of when there's electricity, you have no idea. People wouldn't even need it to reduce the demand for fuel, which will now make it okay. It's now there for cars to run on. It's to reduce the demand for fuel. It's to reduce noise pollution. Because sometimes you go to some areas and the generator noise you would hear, you're not even sure if you'll be able to sleep well. I remember living then, I didn't have a generator,
from the
but the people around had.
Yeah, the air pollution as well. There is definitely a huge impact in the environment. And with the disparities between the bills that are being paid, you would hear some people on band A and they are getting 24 hours electricity, and it's fair to say, okay, if you're paying for what you're given, then that is fine. But then others would say they are on band A and they don't get as much hours. All right, well, we have another caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Lilian. It's Shetima Kudima back again.
Good morning, Shetima. Thank you for joining us back.
You're welcome. I received 2 calls now. People from different parts of Nigeria call me. And there is one that I say I must to share with Nigeria. You can imagine a ward that called Maryam in Maiduguri, they in 2 weeks, they get 2 hours power supply. In 2 weeks. And somebody called me from the Federal Secretariat here in Maiduguri. He said in a month, they get supply for 6 hours. And to their dismay, the company brings a bill of 1.7 million naira. You can imagine. 6 hours, only supply of 6 hours. They are giving bill of 1.7 million. This is beyond human imagination. So as I told you, this is extortion. Our government have to do something about it. Even though we know our government is a total failure. But we are praying for God intervention. It was only God can rescue this country. All this poverty that you are seeing, a lack of power supply have contributed. All this insecurity that you are seeing is due to upward poverty. If the power supply had become adequate, all these things had been solved. So it was only God will rescue us. Thank you so much and have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Shatima there. Still in the same degree, the problem is the estimated billing. Let these people get meter. The estimated billing is making it look like there's room for extortion and corruption. They should be metered up. That way, you're paying for the services you're getting. Exactly. You know that if you're recharging and you don't have light, it's not going to run. So you're paying for the services you're getting. Definitely. But the issue in the power sector is something that we won't stop talking about and is always in the news. We're going to be doubling back on the conversation in our discussion segments, where we'll be having our guests who will be joining us virtually. So do stay tuned as we'll be analyzing the power sector critically right after the break.